What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. This is Sunny from personalmasteryquest.com, and today I'll be showing you how to become someone new, how to finally become the person that you've been wanting to become forever. This is the third of 5 videos that I'm doing answering your guys' questions. So again, after this video, if you have a question that you want me to make a video about, comment it down below. But today's question comes from the video that I made just last week where I went to Boston and I was vlogging and I was kind of talking about my story a little bit. And in that video, I discussed the concept of starting with the end goal in mind. Thinking about the person that you want to become and not waiting to become that person, but actually just embodying that person right now in the present moment. And that's how you truly bridge the gap between who you currently are and who you want to become. And so the question that came up off of that video is by Sir, who asked, "Hi Sunny, how do you do that? How do I become that person? When I try to do it, I feel a lot of negative emotions and lots of resistance." And I thought this was a perfect question and a perfect opportunity to answer this in a full video. Yes, it is still true that in order to become someone new, in order to really get your dream self and dream reality, you do have to start at the end. You have to pick up the identity of the person who already would have what you want and simply embody that person, embody their demeanor, the way they react to things, the thoughts they think, the beliefs they have, embody all of that in the present moment, in your current life. And what happens eventually over time, reality reshapes itself to uphold the new identity that you have created. Now, this little piece is kind of next level, okay? This is something that I only share with my clients, but I thought this was the perfect opportunity to actually share it in a video. To really understand this whole process better, you have to look at the 5 levels of reality creation. The 5 levels are, number 1, your thoughts, okay? That's the surface level of how you create a reality. Your thoughts stem from your emotions, okay? How you feel. Your emotions stem from your beliefs. Your beliefs about certain things cause you to have certain emotions about those things. And then your beliefs come from your core beliefs, which are certain beliefs that you pick up very early on in your life, maybe through your family, just, really early on conditioning that you received as a child. And those core beliefs come from the identity, which also comes from very early on in your childhood. But your identity is something that you're constantly reshaping throughout your life as you have new experiences, you pick up certain beliefs, certain new identities. But your identity is the center of your sphere of consciousness. Everything that happens in your reality happens to uphold the identity that you have identified with. Take, for example, a person who has identified with being not worthy, okay? This person has very low self-esteem, and that's part of his identity. Now, everything in his reality is going to happen to uphold that identity. So this person will always come across other people and things and experiences that will undermine his worth, that will show him that he's, no one really cares. And so his identity will be upheld. And he'll be like, exactly, I'm not worthy. The world hates me. And his self-esteem even goes lower. So the identity becomes stronger and stronger. But really, the identity is the center of the whole sphere of consciousness. Most people, when they try to better their life and change their life, they just start with direct concrete action, right? They start working hard, they put a lot of effort in, but they still have the same identity. So even if things change, they change maybe a little bit. Sometimes things do change and then that changes their identity, which then makes the real change. But action is very less effective as compared to an identity shift. That's why I say the easiest way to achieve your goals is to work on your identity, work on yourself, your beliefs, your inner reality, and then that eventually reflects outwards. So when we talk about starting with the end in mind, and picking up and embodying the person who you want to become, not in sometime in the future, just now in the present moment, that's exactly what works. Now, I totally understand what you mean by you feeling uncomfortable and feeling really a lot of resistance come up when you try to embody the future self. And that's perfect. Don't run away from that resistance, because that resistance is a gift, okay? A lot of those negative emotions, they show you a lot of the beliefs that you still have within that aren't congruent with your new identity. Let me give you a perfect example of this. I have picked up an identity of being a very successful YouTuber and business person. And I embody that identity right now all the time, okay? Now that day when I went to Boston, I started doing my first vlog because that's something that I'm interested in and I want to start doing on my channel. When I was vlogging for the very first time in public, I felt uncomfortable. I felt kind of awkward. I was like, this is kind of stupid. Like, people are looking at me. I felt judged. I felt, all those negative emotions and resistance coming up, making me want to stop vlogging in public. But I quickly became conscious of this and thought to myself, my new identity of the very successful YouTuber, right, and business person would have no problem vlogging in public, would have no problem talking to a camera where there are so many people around, because that's just a usual part of his reality. So why am I feeling that right now? How I am feeling right now isn't congruent with the identity that I'm embodying right now. And so what those feelings really showed to me is that I still have a lot of beliefs that aren't allowing me to pick up that new identity. And so that's why I say those feelings are a gift, because they show you that you still have a lot of emotions and beliefs within that don't fit in with your new identity. And so now you know exactly what to work on. So that day when I felt that way, I simply overcame that resistance through courage. And courage is another thing that I'm going to be making another video on. It might be my next video. But you have to identify those beliefs. Okay, what do I believe about myself? So in that moment, I was thinking, okay, why do I feel uncomfortable? Maybe somewhere deep down, I believe that I'm not worthy of being very successful. Maybe deep down, I believe that I'm not as entertaining as the other bigger YouTubers. So you identify those beliefs and you overcome them by simply taking action and moving in the direction of your goal anyway. You affirm again your new identity. Tell yourself who you really are, that future self, and then just take action. Overcome that resistance. Because when I did that, those feelings went away. And just in one day, vlogging in public kind of became natural to me. It was okay. It didn't matter as much when people were watching me walking by. Those negative emotions and resistance will initially come up, but in that moment, will you have the courage to go forward to get what you want anyway? To do this, you need to create a strong identity and focus on it a lot through visualization. Visualization allows you to mentally live out your future life and become familiar with it. The more time you spend visualizing your future life, the better it is, because the more familiar you become with that life. You pick up the body sense that you will have if you were living that life. You become familiar with how would it be to live that reality. And the more familiar you become with it, the less resistance you start having within. Here's a secret. The more you focus on something, the more you just start considering it to be normal and true. So when you are picking up that new identity, right now you may not think that's true, right? That doesn't exist right now. But just by merely focusing on it and visualizing it all the time, you start just thinking of it as normal. And that's when the real shift happens. That's when you just start thinking of it as the truth. A lot of media outlets and news, they always use this tactic. They make people focus on something for a long period of time, even though that thing wasn't true. Just by constantly getting that attention, that thing becomes true over time. So focus on that new identity you want to create. Constantly give your attention to it. Think about it all the time. Find pleasure in just visualizing. Find that good feeling in visualizing. Become familiar with your new identity, and it just over time becomes true, becomes your identity. Keep creating new beliefs. All a belief is a certain thought pattern that you repeat over and over and over again until it becomes embedded. That's all a belief is. So to give you an example, I have a belief that I create the best videos regarding this topic on YouTube. Now, that may be true or it may not be true, but that doesn't matter, because that belief allows me to consistently upload quality content. It allows me to make the videos that will eventually, if it's not true right now, will eventually make me make it true. Because right now, if I just think to myself, oh, I make pretty crappy videos, pretty average videos, but somewhere down the line when I'm that new version of myself, I will make amazing videos, then that future self may or may never come. But right now, if I firmly believe that I make the best videos right now and I just focus on it all the time to make it real, it eventually becomes real, not only for me, but also for everybody else. And a prime example of this is Muhammad Ali, who for years just preached that he is the greatest of all time until he really became the greatest of all time. So use this technique to your advantage. What I just shared with you is so powerful in shaping your reality. Remember that your identity is the center of the sphere of your consciousness, and everything that is happening in your reality is pointing to certain beliefs that you have within. So if negative things are always happening, don't, resist the negative, just take it for what it is. It's a sign that you have those beliefs. So confront the beliefs and really think, okay, what do I believe to be true about myself? Who have I identified myself to be? If you're constantly struggling financially, ask yourself, what beliefs do I have regarding money? What identity have I built regarding money? Identity regarding relationships, identity regarding career, success. Everything happening in your life is just a lesson. And if you live consciously and become more aware, you can learn these lessons and transcend. So I hope you found that video helpful. Put this into practice right now by creating a new identity for yourself and embodying that person right now. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and share this video with a friend who would also find it helpful. If you would like to get coaching with me one-on-one and learn more new awesome things like this technique, then the link for that is in the description box below. But other than that, happy holidays, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next video.